Hi everyone and welcome back. The Xbox headset wireless are my preferred headset when it comes to game and not only on the Xbox Series X. But to get the best audio possible, there are some settings to tune in, so let's check it out. Okay guys, the first option we have is going through the settings of the Xbox itself. So we can go through settings here, for example, and move to volume and audio output. And the first thing to check here is the headset format. Let's say we want the Windows Sonic for headset, which is the integrated codec for the audio in the Xbox. With that setting enabled, let's move to devices and connections, then to accessories. Then here we can go through the settings of the headset itself. We just have to click on configure and equalizer, set it on custom. So as we can see, we don't have that much settings here. We have only 5 equalizers to manage with the sounds. Where the steps, the vocals and everything like mid-range and upper mids is happening is between 1 kHz and 8 kHz. So let's say, so we want to raise a little bit 1 kHz. I will put it on so, and this I will raise it a little bit more because this frequency of 4 kHz is the one that we are going to allow us to listen sounds a little bit more crisp, and this one probably 1.5. These are some settings, but then you have to start off. Probably 250, I will raise it of 1 unit. And this one, I'm not going to touch it because these two are basically the low mid-range. I just set up 1 unit of the mid-range just in case you want to hear some other different sounds. So starting from these settings, you can try and listen how is going to be the sound on games. Keep in mind that, for example, this custom equalizer is going to work only if you are gaming. So if you want to watch a movie or something else, you have to go back again here and change it in music, speech, heavy bass and whatever on game. One weird thing of these settings here is that whenever you are changing or moving from these presettings, for example, let's say we want to watch a movie and then we set up the equalizer on movie. So as we can see, we are going to have a different equalizer for movies. When you move back to custom, it won't change. It won't change and it won't store the settings that we are setting before. So we have to go again here and start from the beginning, which is something weird and I really don't recommend to use it. But the second way you can get the best of the audio from the Xbox wireless headsets is using the Dolby Access app. When you buy the headset, you are going to have 6 months of license, because this app you have to pay, if I'm not wrong, $50 more or less in the Microsoft Store. You can download it from the Xbox Microsoft Store. I have to say that this app is one of the must-have apps for enjoying the full potential of your Xbox wireless headsets. But not only. For example, if you are sharing the same account between your Xbox and your Microsoft Store in your computer, you can use the same app on your computer for enabling the Dolby Atmos. If you have also another headset using it with your computer that has the Dolby Atmos functionality. So I find it really to be helpful. It's something affordable, $15. It's not that. So with that said, let's move to the settings. As we can see, we have 3 presets that Dolby Atmos is offering to us. The game preset, which I find it to be really useful, and in the most of the games you can really use this preset here because it's working. I have to say it's working really good. You have to enable, I suggest you to enable the performance mode, because it's going, as you can see in the description, it's going to prioritize positional accuracy for competitive gaming. So it's going to help us listing the footsteps, the reloading of the weapons and so on. So I suggest really to start using this. Another preset we have is movie. You can select movie. In movie preset, I usually select the detailed equalizer. Unfortunately, here you cannot see how they are setting the equalizer. Unfortunately, you cannot see all the sliders. You have just this preset here. But I have to say that these are working really nice. Another one is music, which I prefer to leave it on balanced because it's going to balance on more or less all the sound. Now, if you guys are not, let's say, happy, or if you want more details and you want to listen different, you can go and customize one of the custom profiles we have here. This is really interesting. It's different from the included equalizer on the Xbox because, as we can see, this has a more wide spectrum on the frequency. Although I have to say that not all the frequencies are going to be listened from the human ears. So let's say the range that I think it's the most important one is between starting from 250 Hz and going up to 4 or somehow 8 kilohertz, because these are going to be the mid ranges and the presence, let's say, ranges of the equalizer. So what you have to change here is 500, 1 kilohertz and 2 kilohertz and 4 kilohertz. I usually leave it more or less like so. You can start from these settings. If you can of course customize those settings. As I usually say, guys, sounds is something that is really personal, and it's like colors. It's like listening to the music or listening to the sounds. It's like seeing certain colors. So each one of us has different perspective. This is not a tutorial on what are the best settings, because the best settings is the settings that you choose, that those settings are the best for you. So this is something when you can start from. This is something that you can use as a reference, because the mid sounds and the presence are going to happen between 5 Hz and maximum 8 kilohertz. So you have to work, in my opinion, between those range of frequencies to get the most accurate sound from a game, from an FPS game. In this case, in this specific case, is a shooter. So I use usually this equalizer in Call of Duty or Battlefield and games like so, for listening all the footsteps and all the reloading, all the other sounds that are in the game. We have other 2 custom presets here if you want to modify also them. For example, let's say you are not happy with how the movie equalizer, it's the sound of the movie equalizer, it's happening, so you want to change that, and you have to start modifying all this. In this case, for example, let's say you want to watch a movie or a series and whatever else. In this case, you don't need that much presence, but you need to listen effects, and you need to listen sounds on a movie, because the movie has music, has sounds, has voices and whatever. In this case, probably you're going to use the 124 Hz a little bit, and then moving again to 1 kilohertz and 2 kilohertz. Usually in movies I have noticed that the most used frequency are between 124 and 1 kilohertz using these headsets on the Xbox. Of course, if you are using a PC or a smart TV or whatever else, the equalizer is going to be different, because the equalizer depends on where it's going to be applied, in which device is going to be applied. So also this is something you have to keep in mind. And again, we have another third customizable profile here. So what I suggest you guys is always to move a little bit all these sliders and try and check out which of those settings are working the best for you. Unfortunately, here there are not sliders that are going to tell you how much you are changing, but of course you can say, for example, here is -3 dB, because as we can see, it's starting from 0 going to 6 and 12. So here more or less we can say it's 3 dB. This is something that hopefully and probably they're going to change in the future, that letting you know how you exactly are moving those sliders. So that's it, guys. These are some of the suggestions I have to give you guys for modifying and using the Dolby Atmos on the Xbox wireless headsets. And all these settings, you can start from these settings here, and you can use them if you prefer as they are, or you can of course change them so they can fit exactly what you are hearing in the game. So my suggestion is to start moving something. Usually in my testing, I am leaving all this to 0 and start moving from 5 Hz to 4 kilohertz, moving the sliders a little bit and trying. You have to just move them and try them in game, how they sound to you. So that's all for this video. If you find it helpful, guys, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching.